Do you have any personal experience with the term wicked stepmother? Whether you're a man or a woman, have you ever attempted to step in and be a good parent to your spouse's children? If so, you want to stick around for this one as we explore this interesting and important parenting topic. But first, please take a moment to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe and hit the bell for notifications.
This video is sponsored by Canyon Foot and Ankle. From simple nail care to advanced trauma and reconstructive care, their podiatrists have the training and skills needed to resolve even the most complex cases. Treat your feet to the exceptional care they deserve.
Why do so many fairy tales feature wicked stepmothers? These archetypes of step-parents being mean and preferring their own children over their stepchildren and forcing their stepchildren to do an unfair share of the housework don't come from nowhere. These archetypes are deeply embedded in our culture going back many centuries.
If you're thinking about becoming a step-parent, it is vital beforehand to consider whether you can allow your future spouse to be the kind of parent they want and need to be, and if you want to support them in that role and grow to love their kids as much as they do.
Are you able to treat your children and stepchildren the same? Or if you don't have any, love those stepkids as if they're your own? You won't necessarily love your stepchildren like your own right at first, and you need to give that relationship some time to develop. With your own children, you had years to bond, changing all those diapers and playing in the park and fixing their skinned knees. And in time, you can develop that same powerful parent-child bond that you have with your own children, with your stepkids. Be intentional and take the opportunity to get to know them.
Right, so we're not suggesting that you be expected to just dive in and love them instantly, but we are suggesting that if you're going to date people with kids, be truly willing to step in and do what's necessary to become a great step-parent and to love those kids over time. Let's face it, if you have kids and you're dating, how well your kids get along with a dating partner and how well you get along with their kids it's an important question, and one that good parents don't take lightly.
So what does step-parenting mean for you and your future spouse financially? How much financial help will you give to children that are grown up? How will you be fair to both your children and your spouse's children when managing limited resources? These are super important questions to consider and discuss with dating partners. Now, if you had a child that, say, was in trouble and needed to go to rehab, that could cost you tens of thousands of dollars. Would your spouse tolerate that, or your prospective spouse? Would you tolerate that if it was one of their kids? Would you be as willing to spend money to rescue their children as you would your own? Incredibly important and impactful questions.
And the reason we bring that up is because we've seen some of our coaching clients get into marriages where they hadn't had those conversations, and it can get really tricky.
Right, and it's very sensitive when someone, is wanting to tell your children no, when it's something that's really important to them and it's something you might have gone ahead and done if it was just up to you. Those are things we need to be on the same page about.
Right, because if you're going to change the status quo in the way you work with money and your children, even if they're adults, it's important that you create a united front and that you're coming to them as a couple and not putting the blame, so to speak, on the new spouse.
One little thing I was grateful for, my son was doing fine when he was in college, but I was paying his car insurance every month. And after we got married, Cathy and I continued to do that. Small thing, but it was something we discussed and agreed we would do.
And I actually enjoyed doing that as a couple. It was a nice thing to do together.
Right, and we tried to make it clear to him that it was a gift from both of us, not just me.
Before we jump into this last part, I was thinking maybe we might want to just quickly talk about how, especially when kids are young, another important thing to consider is what is your relationship priority order and what is your dating partner's? How does that impact parenting? This is a question I asked all of my dating partners, and mine personally is self, God, spouse, kids. It was important to me that I ended up with someone whose priority order was similar to mine and for similar reasons. Now, Kids weren't last on my list because they're not important, but because I believe that they benefit most when I'm in a good place. And so are my most important relationships, which are my spiritual and my spousal relationships. When that is good, kids benefit greatly. Now, you may have a different order, and that's fine, but we do recommend finding someone who matches your order, because there will be a lot less conflict when you treat the priority order of relationships similarly.
You know, Cathy, that reminds me of an experience we had when one of your children heard us have a little disagreement, nothing super serious, but he came to us when he heard that and said, "Are you two gonna get divorced?" I mean, he'd experienced that before. That's what adults do when they have a problem, they get divorced. And I said to him, "No, we love each other, we're committed, we'll work this out. That's what we do." And I think that was very reassuring to him, but I think it's important to understand that even if this is a step-parent relationship, the solid marriage between the two parent figures in that home is really important to the kids.
Yeah, it's very reassuring and stabilizing for them.
Right. It's also vital that you have a soft touch at first. When you're disciplining or demanding that your stepkids obey you. Some old school parents have a rough time with this. We're going to suggest that at first you leave the heavy lifting to the natural parent and you focus on developing a relationship with the child and being a friend.
In other words, you get to step in and do the fun stuff.
Right. You weren't there for all those midnight feedings and diaper changes and walks to school and the other work of parenting. So you're playing catch up. Now, I've been a step-parent to Cathy's two sons for almost 6 years, and I can do more of the hard part of parenting now than I could at first, because the kids know me now, they love me, and they trust me. But it's taken several years to get to this point. You can't just take it for granted that because you're married to their other parent, or because you're an adult and they aren't, that they're going to automatically do what you say and trust you. Trust is something you have to earn in this situation. So be patient, be loving, and enjoy the journey.
So what is your experience with step parenting? Tell us in the comments. And remember that any time is a great time for more love in your life.
Thank you for watching.
Thanks for joining us for another week on LilyTube. If you enjoy what you see, support us by liking, commenting, and sharing your favorite videos with others who could benefit.
As single life and relationship coaches, our mission is to help single adults intentionally heal from loss to create a happy life and healthy relationships. Keep coming back and we'll keep you encouraged. Each week, we provide new and refreshing perspectives on the challenges and opportunities of mid-single life.
If you'd like to immerse yourself deeper into your own personal development and relationship journey, visit our website at loveinlateryears.com for even more resources. Don't take on divorce recovery and other relationship loss and single life alone. We are here for you.